Welcome in this new course on frame control, more specifically how to set the frame with a client whenever you think the session is not moving forward and you would like to make sure your client can experience the best change possible during the therapy session or the coaching session. How to set the frame so that you make sure that by the end of the session, at least some huge, big positive change happened. Maybe not their whole life have been completely transformed, but at least some big thing happened. It is quite often a concern for many coaches and therapists because they don't really know if what they say, what they do is being effective, is having an impact on their client's mind as the session is advancing. So how to know that and how to know you are moving forward and how to make sure by the end some belief at least has been changed into the head of your client. So basically, if you don't set the frame during a session, during even any kind of conversation, here we are going to broaden the scope of attention to any kind of communication situation where you have to communicate. If you don't set the frame, the other person is setting it. There is not really any other possibility. You set the frame or somebody else is setting the frame. If you are in front of a police officer, pretty much they are setting the frame because in our society, their social authority is way higher than yours because they can get you into jail. Some people in some other districts may say, no, the police is the enemy, fuck them, whatever. But in general, you get the point. Somebody is always setting the frame in an interaction, whether you want it or not. And if you don't consciously set the frame for, I want this conversation to lead to that outcome, or I want this conversation to go to this result, this person changing their mind, this person agreeing with me, whatever the goal is. It can be a million different things, but at least set something. Set a goal in your mind for where do I want to get to with this person or with this group of people, because if you don't set any outcome, people will set it for you at some point, or you may have you always have an outcome, and if it is not conscious enough, if your outcome is, oh, I just want to not be disrespected, coming back to the basics of the unconscious mind, it does not understand negation. So if your outcome for the conversation, the therapy session, for example, if your outcome is, I hope it is going to go well, I hope it is going to be okay, I hope they don't ask for a refund. If this is your frame of mind when you enter the session, there's not going to be any big positive change. At least in most cases. Maybe in certain cases, the client will be so motivated that they change anyway, but in many cases, it won't be enough. So if your frame, and we are going to dissect how do you elicit really the beliefs you have during a session about your skills as a coach, as a therapist, and about what is possible with the client. We are going to dissect all of that. If your frame is very uncertain, like you don't really believe you can, you think, oh yeah, I will just see, I hope it's going to be okay, I will just try and see what happens. If you're like that, if you're too uncertain or doubtful about your own skills, basically anyone, even the least skilled person with communication skills, anyone can outframe you. By outframing, we mean like they can prove you wrong, they can make you stop being able to refute anything, or like they can stop your trail of thoughts very easily because you haven't even been setting the frame for yourself. For what do you believe about this interaction, about the person in front of you, and what do you believe is possible? If you believe that change, therapeutic change, has to be slow, painful, and very difficult, that's what's going to happen, because it is your presupposition. If you presuppose that the change can happen extremely fast, which I can assure you, as long as we speak only about mental issues, it can change really fast, unless the person is under medical condition, like under tons of medication, different story. But for somebody who is not in a hospital, who is just has anxiety or lack of confidence, or all of those things, or conflicting relationships, all of those things can be handled extremely fast in the mind. And then in real life as they take action. And it is your job to help them take the right actions. So some definitions here. The first one, a frame, basically. A frame is just the assembly of beliefs you hold, and that the other persons hold, but it's just the assembly of beliefs you hold about the situation at hand and the person you're currently having a conversation with. So let's take just right now. You watching this, you have expectations for what you are going to learn from this, from what I say. You came here having expectations. You presuppose that by purchasing this, you will uncover, get something. That is your expectation. Will it meet your expectation or not? It depends on other factors, but at least you come with expectations. The other person in front of you also comes with expectations. And sometimes there is a massive mismatch, which is the next definition. Frame control is about understanding where the mismatch is between your frame and their frame and act accordingly. So many times when a client, specifically someone who doesn't know about NLP, about rapid change, about cognitive therapy, many people will have a lot of resistance, not even because they don't think they can be helped, but because they don't even know it is possible to change really fast in just 1 or 2 sessions, that 20 years of anxiety built up can be reframed in just 1 session. It doesn't mean their whole life will change in 1 session, but at least the headspace they find themselves into can definitely be altered and changed in just 1 session. When they come, maybe they won't even believe that. So there is a mismatch because you know it is possible, they don't. And they don't even think it could be possible. If they have never studied applied psychology or hypnosis or anything like that, they may have preconceived assumptions about, oh, no, it is not possible because in my case it is different because this, because that. Oh yeah, but for me, I have kids and I have... Everyone has problems. So their situation is not unique. They think it is, but it is not unique. Many other people have been going through the same thing. And your job here is to figure out specifically where is the mismatch. What is the main belief that is in conflict between your frame, which we will clarify during this course, between your frame and their frame. They're never really aware. Specifically, they are never really aware of which specific beliefs are holding them back. It is your job to help them uncover that, to help them unpack between all the mess, the negative experiences, what people told them, what their parents told them, what their ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend told them. It's a massive mess in their head usually, and it is your job to unpack all of that and figure out what are the 2, maybe 3 main beliefs that are really holding them back from experiencing a positive change. It's usually not a million things. It is usually 1, 2 very deeply rooted negative beliefs that are preventing them to change. Most likely a belief about themselves, I am not capable, or a belief about others, oh, people never change, they are all the same, those generalizations, oh, everyone is the same, no, nobody can be trusted, all those things, or about the actual method, yeah, you talk about hypnosis, but I know hypnosis doesn't work on everyone. This one I get it all the time. We will go through how to reframe that, but basically they have beliefs like that. So let me get back on the screen. This is one of the most likely frame you are going to encounter. So again, a frame is an assembly of beliefs. This is here an assembly of beliefs, and it is one you will encounter with virtually every client you encounter, or like they will have a composition, a mix of certain of those beliefs, maybe not all of them, but several of them. So the first one, there's always something wrong with me. Many people like this, especially some who have been into therapy, but into the wrong type of therapy, believing that everything they do is always wrong because they come from this identity that has been reinforced by years of wrong therapy, which is all about explaining the problem, but never in any case looking for a solution that could be outside of the problem. They just explain with more labels. Oh, I am such a person. I am a type whatever, type C personality, whatever they give as label. They just explain what is wrong with them, but they never look for something that could get them out. So there's always something wrong. It is a big frame that is always going to come back in coaching sessions, or like whatever happens, something else is always going to come in. Actually, yeah, someone or something else caused this and I'm not responsible, or people and situations cannot change, everything is stuck. There is always something that will go wrong in the future. That was the one I had in mind. So whatever happens, oh, something else will happen. Oh, but you have seen COVID. Oh, something else will happen. Or the Democrats or the Republicans, or they will always have tons and tons of justifications and explanations for why the world will go more and more bad all the time. Especially people who read the news every day, they very often find themselves in that headspace that something bad will happen. No matter how good it is going in my life, something bad will happen anyway. There are many reasons for me to feel bad today. So many people, because of a natural mechanism of our brain, which is always looking for what could be dangerous today, because it is what keeps us alive as a species. So we are naturally calibrated to look for what's going wrong or what could go wrong. But some people who never take charge of their own brain and who never really try to improve themselves, what's going to happen is they keep looking for reasons why they feel bad. Like a client I have right now, she's always like, now she stopped because I told him enough times I disproved her belief about there is always something going wrong with me, because she was always looking up on the internet for either ADHD or a type C personality or bipolar people, but she kept reading those descriptions and saying, oh, that's me, oh, that's me, oh, that's me, for like 10 different things. And I really reinforced in her self-esteem, yeah, okay, fine, you are fucked up, you are fucked up, you are fucked up, I get it. What can you do to get out of that? And she had never thought about it. She never even considered the possibility that there could be a way out of me feeling bad and feeling low every day. And now it is like the third or fourth session. And now she comes back and giving me like stuff she has figured out for herself to feel better that I didn't even suggest. But I only broke the belief that there is always something wrong going on in her life. At some point, no, like was one thing I told her in the very beginning that really hit her, that she told me again later, was, I don't think you need more therapy at this point. I really told her, because she had been like 5 years of psychotherapy that led nowhere. She could describe her problem really, really well, but she could never get past the main negative, depressed feeling. Let's generalize it that way. Always feeling low, feeling depressed, nothing is going wrong, nothing is going well. And by listening to her story, I just said, I don't even think you need more therapy at this point. I think you need to build up positive resources. Yes, and we can do that together. But explaining more how fucked up you are and why you are fucked up, I think you have already figured that out pretty well at this point. And that really, there was a massive hit on her face, like, oh. And from there she started to open her mind to, oh, actually maybe. And then we need some reinforcement again during the next sessions to make her realize that no more need to look for what's going wrong with yourself. Now let's look for what can go right, what can go good. And no matter how good it is now, it will get bad later again. Too good to be true. Some people who have been used to being depressed for years, or really sad, or in a really anxious state, they may have a hard time believing that, yes, there is actually a simple solution for you to get better. Not with everyone in every context, but in many cases, it is possible to at least have a big relief about the situation at hand. So this is an example, but it is very close to what you will be confronted with whenever you will have a client in therapy or coaching. Many times they will come with some of those presuppositions, or very close to, like something like this. Next, we will see how to build up your own frame to help them get out of this. Because again, this is what people will come to you with. If you don't set the reverse frame, if you don't set any opposite frame, what's going to happen is they are going to suck you into this. They are going to suck you into believing that all of that is true, whereas all of those are just beliefs again. And what you are going to control the frame with are also just beliefs, but there are beliefs that are opening possibilities, and there are beliefs that are restricting possibilities. Is it the truth or not the truth? We don't fucking care about what is true, what is wrong. It is only about, does it open choices or does it restrict choices? If it is restricting choices, so metaphorically, okay, it is the bad option. Okay, let's play the cowboy and yeah, the good, the evil, the bad, you know, if you want. But it is not even a judgment of value in my opinion. It is just about what does open choices and what does limit choices. From the things that are opening choices, some of them will be bad too. It is not like frame control is only about doing good. It can be used in a bad way if it is bad people, but the more you know about it, the more you can protect yourself against any misuse of those things. So frame control is about changing the frame of the conversation, understanding where this conversation is going, and all of those are basically the supporting beliefs that are maintaining the frame. So now we are going to see how to set your own frame and how to start reframing all of those negative beliefs.